R.I.P. to the Joe Rogan Experience. Looks like this could be the start of the end for Joe Rogan's famous, super popular podcast. Let's dive right into this story. I know you guys are probably tired of hearing it. Joe Rogan, Joe Rogan, Joe Rogan. But we got some kind of interesting news that has just come out in the past few days. Figured I'd bring it to you guys. Before I get started, do me a favor, hit the subscribe button. Join me on this journey. We got a lot to talk about. Even stuff that doesn't have to do with the Kung Flu or politics or anything like that. You know, Hollywood's going crazy. Professional athletes are going crazy. I'm going to bring these stories and updates to you guys using common sense and logic. So, Joe Rogan's fans are refusing to follow him to Spotify, and it's bad. All right, so it says with Joe Rogan recently deciding to remove all of the Joe Rogan Experience podcast episodes off YouTube, fans have been reluctant to watch episodes on Spotify, including me. So I guess what's happening is Joe Rogan is privating all his YouTube JRE podcasts. I don't think he's deleting them. He's making them private so people can't watch them. And that's smart for the simple fact that there's a good shot Joe Rogan may come back to YouTube. And listen, hear me out. Everybody's going crazy about, wow, Joe Rogan got this $100 million payday to sign with Spotify. Well, listen, he was making close to like $30 million a year on the YouTubes, as Anthony Bryant Logan would say. Between his podcast, the Joe Rogan Experience, which got millions of views every episode, millions of views. I mean, the sponsors he was making FU money before he got that Spotify payday of $100 million. So he technically didn't have to go to Spotify. The guy had more money than he knows what to do with. I mean, when you're making $30 million a year, how many years the Rogan podcast? And obviously, it didn't make that much every year, but he's got so many other business ventures going. He didn't need to make the move. So, reading on, reading on. Since signing a $100 million multi-year exclusive deal, $100 million multi-year exclusive licensing deal with Spotify, Joe Rogan hasn't had the most comfortable of stays on the platform. He first came into trouble for wrongful claims about the Portland fires, something he was allegedly forced to apologize. All right. Excuse me. Joe Rogan said that he wasn't forced to apologize. It was kind of a weird thing. He hasn't done that before, come out with an apology like that. But he said nobody at Spotify has said a single word to him about anything. And I believe Joe. I'm not sure exactly why he'd lie about that. It was just weird, maybe. I don't know. Maybe he felt some obligation to Spotify to do so. It says, moreover, the platform had initially promised no creative control over the content of the Joe Rogan Experience podcast. However, that has been seen to not be true, with some of his episodes having been reported missing on Spotify. Okay, that's true. There are a bunch of episodes that haven't been brought over to Spotify. Maya Yiannopoulos, Gavin McInnes. There's a whole list of them that never made it over to Spotify, which is weird. It's a lot. Most of them are like right-leaning, conservatives, with people that are on the right of the political spectrum. So, and obviously, we all heard what happened with the Spotify employees freaking out, just throwing tantrums. The blue and purple and pink-haired people running around screaming, wanting to censor Joe Rogan and get him off Spotify and all the nonsense that the woke social justice warriors do. Good thing is the Spotify CEO was having none of it, and he's a fan of the Joe Rogan Experience, so he let them say their piece. And I don't see Spotify trying to take any creative control over the podcast. However, not bringing those episodes over is kind of alarming in itself. Okay, so this is despite Rogan's own claims that the platform has said nothing to him about any editorial oversight. Now, Joe Rogan has recently made private all the episodes that were posted on his YouTube channel. This has led to criticism from quite a few fans who have refused to follow him to Spotify. All right. So here we get a tweet from Ahmad, Ahmad Sharif. Joe Rogan Experience episodes are being taken off YouTube. I was in the middle of listening to one when it was taken off. It's been a good ride. That'll be it for me. YouTube Premium is just a much better value than Spotify. And it says Joe Rogan's tweet there. So starting December 1st, all new JRE episodes will be exclusively on Spotify. And right here it says Joe Rogan fans reluctant to follow podcast episodes on Spotify after YouTube deletion. Of course, the JRE podcast holds the number one spot on Spotify by a comprehensive margin. Until a few days ago, most of his episodes were uploaded on YouTube as well. Fans could easily watch the episodes, but that is no longer true. Now, the recent episode number 1572 was posted exclusively on Spotify with almost 1.8 billion views worth of videos having been deleted, made private by Joe Rogan on YouTube. This has been seen by fans as a business decision. All right. So people aren't going to Spotify to follow Joe Rogan. Of course, there are, quite a few people doing it, but there's still quite a few fans that aren't. There's a few reasons for that. Now, me personally, with what these Spotify's employees were doing, throwing a fit about trying to get Joe Rogan off Spotify, trying to have him censored, I don't want anything to do with a company like that. I don't want anything to do with a company that tries to censor people, that tries to stop people from having any different opinion than theirs. And good for the CEO for saying we're not, whatever, we're not censoring Joe Rogan. Good for him, but still, I want nothing to do with that company. I will not support him. I'm not going to go over and watch it. And I think a lot of fans feel the same way. This is crazy. There was the recent Joe Rogan and Alex Jones podcast when Joe Rogan surprised everybody by having Alex Jones back on there after he was at Spotify. Nobody thought that would happen. However, he did. The episode wasn't getting uploaded to Spotify. Joe Rogan tried to say it was some kind of glitch, some kind of technical glitch. Well, it's now coming out that some rogue employee over at Spotify deleted the episode. Now that's still being worked out. There's some news outlets that are saying, yes, we have verifiable evidence that this rogue fan went in and deleted the Alex Jones episode that was on Spotify, which is disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting. That employee needs to be fired, terminated, gone. And if that's how Spotify is going to do these things and treat Joe Rogan, I mean, granted, it was a rogue employee. It wasn't a decision made by Spotify themselves, but still, like, that's disgusting. And my opinion, I think Joe should have left his episodes up on YouTube. I think it was smart not to get rid of them because if things keep going south over at Spotify and people aren't going over there to follow him, I think YouTube is just so much easier for people. I think people have a resentment to Spotify because of all this nonsense. And I also have heard that the whole setup over there is different. I think you can't visually see, like on YouTube, you can see if he's in there with Alex Jones. You can see them too. You can see him talking. You can see Jamie sometimes pulling things up, young Jamie. But I've heard that over there, you just hear him talking, and then they have Joe Rogan clips. Like, they still have the JRE clips on YouTube, but, I mean, just clips. Like, I used to watch the Joe Rogan Experience podcast to see the other people, to see them interacting, to, do whatever they were doing in the studio. I thought that was super cool. And that seems to be no longer. It just seems crazy. And if you look at the numbers, I'm not going to pull up numbers. I just want to make this quick video to bring it to you guys. If you pull up the numbers, his views seem to be going way, way, way down. And there's a lot of fans that aren't following him over. Yeah, he's number one on Spotify by a comprehensive margin. But honestly, my opinion, I think we're going to see that drop. Personally, this is just me. This is just me. You guys, let me know in the comments if you agree or disagree. I think Joe Rogan made a bad move going to Spotify. He was making FU money at YouTube. Now, one thing he was concerned about was YouTube was cracking down on censoring people, demonetizing channels. Kind of, if you had this certain person on, they'd zap the episode. If you had the doctor on talking about the Kung Flu, then it would be iffy. So he wanted to go somewhere where that wouldn't have to be a concern. I think if he stayed on YouTube, he's big enough at YouTube where I don't think they would have messed with him too bad. Making $30 million a year, and it probably would have just kept growing. And his I just think a lot of fans feel alienated by this move, feel alienated, but that they can't watch the episodes anymore on YouTube and have resentments against Spotify as a company just for employing little crybabies that throw tantrums if someone disagrees with them. They call everybody names. Oh, Joe Rogan's a transphobe because he doesn't think. I'm not even going to get into what that it's crazy. So that's my opinion. Let me know, like I said, let me know in the comments what you guys think. Was it a good move? 100 million sounds good up front, but look, if you go back and look at what Joe Rogan makes a year at YouTube and how it just was constantly growing, if it's not broken, don't fix it. That's the way I see it. And he was crushing it with YouTube. But I don't know. It's all up to him. So let me know what you think. Appreciate you guys checking me out. Hit the subscribe button. Join me on this journey. Got a lot to talk about, trying to hit that 100 subscribers by Christmas. You guys can help me out. And then we will set a new goal after Christmas. All right, guys. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other.